Hello, everyone. Welcome to the August Sleep When I'm Dead book discussion for What Have You Done by Sherry LaPena. I have some guests here. Keisha, if you want to go ahead and start with like an introduction, let us know what you like to read, things like that. We're saving our star ratings till the end. I don't know if I put that on the document or not, but yeah, just let us know who you are, what you like to read, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, my name is Keisha, and I am from the channel A Book Like You, also under the same on Instagram. And while I do read, I think a little bit of everything, just depending on my mood, I feel like right now in this season of life, I'm gravitating towards more like cozy mysteries and clean romance and like general mysteries and stuff like that. So that's a little bit about me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hannah from the Teachers TBR, and I also dive into a little bit of everything. I tend to like thrillers the most, though. Thrillers are pretty much my genre. You're muted.
Nice. I wasn't as fast. So, but hello, if anyone is new, welcome. My name is Jessie. This is my online book club called Sleep When I'm Dead. Next month, we are celebrating our 3rd-year anniversary, which if you have not seen my announcement video, we're doing a readathon called Survive the Night. It's a, I guess, like interactive, like try to survive and not get killed type of thing. So I do have that announcement video as well as the Discord, as well as these two ladies' individual YouTube channels. So definitely stop what you're doing and go subscribe and follow them. But yeah, let's go ahead and just see who's all here. Let us know what you rated the book. Again, we're saving ours for the very end. Hello, Courtney. Thanks for joining. Another Courtney. Oh, wait. 2 different profile photos. Same name though. Interesting. Okay.
2 different channels.
Yeah.
Could be. Actually, I have a copy of this book. Nice. I believe we are all good. I mean, it is Monday, so.
Right.
Gwen is here, ready for the discussion. Hi, Jordan. Let's see. Hello. Jules is here. She's excited to hear everyone's thoughts. Well, I'm very excited to hear, because I feel, oops. There we go. I feel like I haven't heard much about this book in general, not just from these ladies, but I'm good to see. And I also have not read in the Sleep When I'm Dead Discord. I haven't read anyone's final thoughts. So this should be pretty interesting. Hello. Danny has not read the book yet, but she's stopping by to say hello. Let's see. On chapter 2, and you're loving it so far. Nice. Love to hear that you are reading it. You may not want to stick around too long. Yeah, we'll be talking spoilers. We're going to save like the twist to the very end, but we will be talking like major spoilers. I only just started it. So far, so good. But the ghost is giving lovely bones. Sorry, which worries me. I have not personally read that, but I've seen the movie, so I know what you're talking about. Nice. That ruins the book for me if you want to know what. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Sandra. Love the blue hearts. Hello, Jules and Sandra. Hopping on when they go to, or hopping off when you guys get to spoilers. Brandon's here. Nice. Hello. Lena's a little late, but excited to discuss this with everyone. 3 stars. Okay, here's the star ratings. 3 stars. Angel's here. 4 stars. 4 stars.
Wow.
3.5. Nice. I love that. So far, I don't see anyone like absolutely hating it. Gwen gave it 4 stars. Good to know. Okay, so we'll like feel free to still comment. We're going to have the questions, so if you like, definitely put your answers in the comment section. But I'm going to have Keisha start off by giving a short synopsis or summary of what this book is about. I think she's going to actually read the synopsis because that is the best way to do it. So kick us off.
Yeah, this is just such a good synopsis. I would not do it justice if I just read it myself. Okay. Nothing ever happens in sleepy little Fair Hill, Vermont, but this morning that will change. And one innocent question could be deadly. What have you done? The teenagers get their kicks telling ghost stories in the old graveyard. The parents trust their kids will arrive home safe from school. Everyone knows everyone. Curtains rarely twitch. Front doors are left unlocked. But Diana Brewer isn't lying safely in her bed where she belongs. Instead, she lies in a hayfield circled by vultures, discovered by a local farmer. How quickly a girl becomes a ghost. How quickly a town of friendly, familiar faces becomes a town of suspects, a place of fear and paranoia. Someone in Fairhill did this. Everyone wants answers.
Snaps for everybody.
Oh, chills. Love it.
That's a great synopsis. Like whoever wrote that
It really
did a
is. It's good.
Yeah. I feel like it's vague to where he doesn't spoil anything, but it gives you just enough, which I really appreciate because I feel like synopsis or like the full synopsis sometimes like ruins the book sometimes.
Yeah.
We are going to start with a super simple question, and that is, have you read anything by this author before? Whoever would like to, I don't care who goes first. I mean, whoever wants to kick us off.
My easy answer is no. This is my first book by her, so.
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow. It is my 6th book by her. I have read The Stranger in the House, The Couple Next Door, Someone We Know, Not a Happy Family, and Everyone Here is Lying. And I will say, out of all of those, Not a Happy Family and Everyone Here is Lying are my favorites.
Interesting. Okay. I have read quite a bit from her. I read The Couple Next Door and A Stranger in the House. Those were like my very first like entry level thrillers, and I feel like those are still very entry level thrillers. I also read An Unwanted Guest, and I am not a huge fan of that one just because it has the clue and then there were none trope. So if you love that trope, you're going to love that one. I also read Not a Happy Family and Everyone Here is Lying. And of course, this one. But the only 2 I have not read by her is The End of Her and Someone We Know. So, and I think I own both of them. I know I own one of them. So, but yeah, let us know if anyone else has read this book or read from this author before. 3 stars. Jules gave it 4. Valerie gave it 4. Second book from her, I have read Not a Happy Couple and gave it 5 stars. Nice. Hello, Corinna. Hello. Only read one other book by her, and it was Everyone Here's Lying. I think I enjoyed Everyone Here's Lying more than this one. Yeah, that one's my favorite, personally.
That one's hard to beat.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's one of those books I gave a 4-star. I'm like, man, I should have given it 5, but oh well. Not Your First. Gave The Couple Next Door 5 stars, and I Don't Want to Guess 4, and the rest have been 3. Not a Happy Family, Stranger in the House, Someone We Know in this one. Let's see. Read this and really enjoyed it. Didn't love the ending, but rated high, so I'll go double check my Goodreads. Nice. 2 or 3 from her before. First from this author. Not Your First. Nice. Okay. So my good old favorite question, if you had to describe this book only using 3 words, what 3 words would you use?
My 3 words are bingeable, domestic, and busy.
That's good. I agree with that.
Very busy.
My 3 words would be, and this is a hyphenated word, so it counts. Fast paced because it's hyphenated.
I thought about that.
Disturbing and predictable.
Nice.
Okay.
I put speedy. I didn't want to use fast paced because I saw you use that one, so I put speedy. Close knit because it's got that small town feel, and then I also put forgettable. So,
spoiler for some thoughts there.
Spoiler. Friends, secrets, lies. Juvenile, messy liars. That sounds like a title. Juvenile, messy liars. Like Pretty Little Liars, but juvenile, messy liars. I like that. The beginning definitely hooked you. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Let me take this banner off. We're just not going to do banners. Okay. So let's jump into the setting of this book. And based on the synopsis that, Keisha just gave us, it's very clear that this book is circled around a small town called Fairhill, Vermont. what did you think of the town, the setting? Was it atmospheric? Like, what'd you think?
I didn't get atmosphere from this book.
Okay.
So I'm curious, like, how everybody else feels. But for me, this didn't give atmosphere. And knowing that it was set in Vermont, I've actually read quite a few books that were set in Vermont. Specifically, a lot of them were by Jennifer McMahon. And I feel like she does atmosphere really well. And Vermont is like really well known for being like full of ghost stories and lore and stuff like that. And so I do feel like there was a little bit of an homage to that in this. But as far as atmosphere overall goes, I feel like this could have been set anywhere in any small town. So it didn't really feel like Vermont was super important to it, in my opinion.
Nice. What about you, Hannah?
I kind of slightly disagree because
okay.
I loved the atmosphere of it because I felt like Sherry Lapina does really good small town vibes. Like all of her books are about small town busybodies, like just that sort of concept. And I feel like she really does that really well. And this one had sort of like I don't know, like that cornfield, like eerie, like out in the woods in the middle of but like domestic wise. And I thought she did a really good job with that. Personally, I really loved it. I loved the setting of it, but I'm a sucker for like small town things.
Yeah. I am kind of like in the middle of both of y'all. Like, I definitely felt like that small town feel, like kind of like one of those towns. Like, I could just picture like, oh, like I want to go off and like never return home. Like, I don't want to like set my roots here type of thing. But then like, I do feel like it could have been set anywhere. It didn't really have like what Keisha was talking about, that like Vermonty, is that a word? Vermonty feel.
Vermont.
I have no, yeah. But it definitely had that like small town vibe. Like there's no like big city nearby. Like everyone knows everyone type of thing. So I got those vibes, and definitely cornfield. Yeah. I like that you use that. That could be one of the 3 words. Let's see. Rural is also a good word as well. I like that. Definitely reminded me of my hometown where everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yep.
That's a good one. I think it had a good setting, but I agree the atmosphere was lacking. Yeah. Small town country vibes. Could have been set in any rural small town. Sorry, I'm like trying not to hiccup and burp at the same time. I'm sorry. Love the atmosphere in the beginning. Then it was less focused on, gave me small town rural vibes for sure. Agree with Keisha. Jennifer McMahon writes top-notch atmospheric vibes. I did not realize that they're all like set in Vermont though. So that's good to know.
She's from there. That's why she writes.
Oh, cool.
Cornfield and Erie. I also feel like this could have been a great fall book with the talk about school and going to college and fields. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I totally planned that. I'm so sorry. I agree with Hannah, and yes to Lena. Okay. Nice. Okay, so this, would you say it's more plot driven or character driven?
This is such a hard question, Jessie.
I know.
Because I feel like it was both. Because the plot was so thick, but so was the character development. Because we were literally having, like, you would have whiplash from the amount of characters that was going on. And the plot was happening the same time you were meeting these characters. So I think it was really both. I think she did a good job in that aspect of keeping it kind of even. Of both character, like you're getting to know the characters and how they have to do with the story, and then while also continuing the plot. So I think it's both.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it is a mixture of both. I want to say, like, I'm tempted to say character driven just because there were so many characters. And if you think about it, like the drive of the story was kind of like taking you through each of the characters. And there were so many people that were viable suspects to the murder, so it was kind of driven by the character. But at the same time, for me personally, like this wasn't the type of writing that made me emotionally attached to any characters. So for that reason, I could also see it being more plot driven, because I wasn't reading for the characters, I was reading to figure out what happened. So
that's good. That's good. I like that.
Y'all are both coming up with like different but same good answers, so I love that. I feel like it's more character driven because I feel like if we only got like one, maybe 2 points of view, it would be like wouldn't be as much of a plot. So I feel like because we got so many characters' point of views, I mean, one of them's not even alive. So, so I just feel like I have to say character, but like I feel like because there was so much, that's what kept the plot moving. So definitely a mixture of both, but I say character. So what does everyone else recommend or say? Character. I agree with Hannah, both, but if I had to pick one, it would be plot. I like that we have one that's like back and forth. I feel like there were too many characters. We didn't need 4 million male characters used as decoys for all the generic names. I love that.
Lena always has those strong opinions.
Would you suggest for me to keep reading the book? Yes. I feel like the less characters, the more character focus. That's so funny. Okay. So at the beginning of the book, we learn that Diane is found dead, but we also get her perspectives, like I just mentioned. Did you like this? Do you think it added anything to the story? Like, what's your thoughts on Diana's point of view?
I really liked it. I mean, I know like some people probably don't like that, but I feel like it added something different in a story that I felt like, I'm not saying that hasn't been done in a story before, but this story as a whole, I feel like is a typical thriller story. And so I liked that it did at least a little something different or something that I haven't read a lot. Not saying again that it hasn't been done before, but I just liked that it was a little different, getting to see some bits of the story unravel through her remembering what happened.
Agreed.
I loved it. I really loved it, which, I mean, it's no secret that I love paranormal aspects in books, but I mean, I thought it was something different. I agree with Keisha, like, without that, it would have just been a very, like, I don't want to say, like, flatlined, because a lot happened, but in the same sense, they're just regular people, and I think it just added that extra to it that it needed. So I'm glad she did throw that in there.
I also feel like, because, like, all the characters were like, oh, like, everyone loved Diana, like, she was the greatest, and, like, I feel like kind of getting those perspectives made us, like, know her a little bit more versus just, like, this, like, faceless, nameless person that we don't know or care about.
We get inside her head.
Yeah. Like, we kind of, like, get to know her as a person, even though she's dead.
I did like that.
Yeah. I don't think it was necessary, but I feel like it did add like that extra level. So, and I like that it gave it to you like up front, because I hate when like books are like, surprise, it's paranormal. Like, I'm just like, whoa, we're like 200 pages in. Like, why are we talking about ghosts? It's just weird.
And it's kind of a different thing that I feel like she's never really tried to do before.
Yeah, I agree, because her other books don't have that. At least to my knowledge. So personally enjoyed it. I could take it or leave it. I don't feel like it added a ton to the story. I didn't like having her perspective. I felt like it was a cop-out. We were told what happened to her instead of shown. I would have preferred to have the living characters put the pieces together.
I can agree with that too. I can see.
And I guess like also it's a little bit different from like having like everyone else's point of view, and then not having, and then like her chapters not being like, oh, 4 days ago before it happened. It was like she was like Keisha said, like we're trying to figure out along with her what happened. So really enjoyed it. Thought it was different. Nice change in perspective. It was a little more telling than showing. I agree with Lena on that one. Nice. Skimming the parts at the beginning and then getting disappointed that she just handed the reader the answer on a silver platter. Hashtag strong opinion.
You're not wrong.
Like Keisha, I read it before, but I enjoyed it. Nice. And it didn't happen too often. Yeah, it was like just sprinkled a little bit. I don't think it was necessary. It wasn't my favorite. Nice. Tell us what you thought about the magical realism element on a scale of 1 to House Across the Lake.
No spoilers for that book.
2. Okay. Let's see. So we talked about that. So this book has a lot of characters. Why do you think the author wanted us to have so many point of views and like so many people to read about? And did you like having this many people in the book? And was there one that you feel like why did we get their point of view? Like it was kind of a waste. I feel like that was a lot of questions. So I'm sorry. All things characters and their perspectives.
I personally think that she put so many in there because she was trying to come at the plot at all different angles and tell it through different people. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea when authors do that. I love when people do that just because I think it gives you a new perspective, a new kind of angle shift towards the plot. And you can learn certain things from different characters, and certain characters tell it a different way. And I personally really liked that. As far as like a character that we could have done without, I almost want to say Ellen. Just because I was kind of like, did we need your perspective? I mean, it did add like some juicy details to it, but like, did we really need Ellen's perspective? So,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
Hashtag strong opinion.
I also think it was really clever for the author to give us so many points of view. I know it can be like taxing to try to keep up with all the characters, but I do feel like at the end of the day, she did it well. I didn't personally need a character list for this one, whereas in other books like Agatha Christie, I definitely need one sometimes. But I think like Hannah said, it was good. I like how you said that you not only are like you get their perspectives, you get their viewpoint, like, and it may look different than somebody else's. So I do like that. And I feel like it gives opportunity for multiple red herrings and multiple suspects. Whereas the less characters you have, the more narrowed, it may be easier to figure out. Now, sometimes it's still easy to figure out, but I like the idea to try to make it it's easy to figure out. Some people do that better than
Execution
others.
is a little questionable.
Yes, but I will say too, I'm going to disagree with Hannah about Ellen not being an important character because I feel like I had trouble figuring out which character I would eliminate because she was really giving us all these red herrings, and Ellen was important because obviously like Diana's body was found in the field of her parents, and Ellen had the connection there. You had like the farmer was connected to the field. Ellen had the connection to the field. And then Brad, who was Ellen's fiance, had access to the field. So it just kind of all weaved together well. So I don't know what character I would eliminate. Were there characters that I liked less than others? Yes. I mean, all the men were awful, but I mean, she did a good job of weaving every relationship together so well, where even down to, what was that lady's name? Hold on, I wrote it down. Paula, her daughter Taylor, who we never saw. Like, I feel like Taylor was a really insignificant character. She was a student, but there was potential for her to come back around and be a suspect too, because we didn't get a lot from her. So I think she did weave all those people together. So it's hard for you to eliminate somebody because there were so many viable suspects.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. But if I had to like eliminate, I didn't really like Cameron, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really like his parents' point of view, but I feel like just having all these people like just made it seem like more of a small town vibe or whatever. It was kind of reminding me a little bit of like Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, just like the cul-de-sac and like everyone knows everyone. But yeah, I mean, I see why you would think Ellen, but I also see why we shouldn't eliminate her. Yes, all the men were terrible. I mean, aren't they always in thrillers? Just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like the characters were just like, even though I like started to create a character list, and I think Keisha had told me like one time during like sprints or something, like not to keep a character list because it's not that deep or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I feel like I'm keeping up with everyone. So, which I normally don't, especially when they all have like very generic names.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that it wasn't too hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have enjoyed it less had it been hard to keep up with. But
yeah, true. Gwen says she likes the POVs. I don't always love it, but the more people, the more suspects. Yeah, I agree with Keisha. Like Taylor, like I was just like, man, she's really fishy. Like it's her. I don't know why, but it's her. So I also had another, which I was correct, but we'll get into that later. I think it was so everyone was a suspect and keep us guessing. Yep, I agree. I didn't think it was hard to keep up with all the sorts. Agree. I was worried at first that there was going to be too many, but I think she did a good job distinguishing them from one another. Yes, she did. I felt physically ill reading some of the men's perspectives, but I love that I had such a this. Why do you gotta use fancy words, Lena?
Visceral.
Visceral. I can't say it. Reaction to the man trash. Agreed. Hello, Helen. I liked all the characters' perspectives just enough where I needed a character, where I didn't need a character list. They were all vivid. I agree. Brad was a pig. Mm-hmm. Wait, am I agreeing with Keisha? I think Ellen was super necessary too.
Look at us getting along.
I'm so glad I can make y'all like come together and agree on one thing, and that's the character's existence. Weren't too many to keep up with. Yeah, I feel like the characters all belonged in individual groups, so it made it easier to follow. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so we talked about characters. Which character? Well, actually, we're not done. Which character stuck out the most to you, good or bad? And did any connection stick out to you the most?
Riley. Mm-hmm. I loved Riley. I think that she was such a good friend, but I also really enjoyed like getting her perspective because I thought it was a good representation of grief. Because I really do think that she was pretty much the only one that was grieving besides her mom, obviously. But I feel like Riley was really grieving Diana. So I really liked her perspective in that.
That was also my answer. So,
well, mine's different. Mine's Evan, because I feel like he stood out to me from the moment that we started to get his journal entries. I'm not saying like stuck out to me in a good way. I'm just saying he stuck out to me because she created him different. His perspective, mostly, I'm not saying that he didn't ever have like little moments where he talked with Riley or anybody else, but mostly was from journal entries. So immediately my red flags went off and it made me separate him. It made him different for me. And it also made him my prime suspect for the whole book. So
that's my answer for the next question.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about Cameron and Diana's relationship. Thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Anna. Yeah, I want to know what you said. You have the
same. He was overbearing and toxic, and she deserved way more than him. And we were painted a different light of what I really thought of Cameron. Like I did not like Cameron at all. I think like there was points where I liked him, but I didn't. As soon as like she said, well, he wanted me to go to the same college as him, I was like, red flag, we're done.
Bye.
Bye, boy.
Yeah. I think it was like halfway a typical teenage relationship, but obviously he was controlling, so it wasn't like every other relationship. But I did feel like the teenage angsty relationship vibes, and I get like him wanting her to go to the same college and them like wanting to, but he was just a lot more serious, I think, than she was in the relationship. And obviously his obsession was toxic and it made the relationship toxic. But I did feel like at moments I felt bad for him because I wasn't sure. I'm like, if he was guilty or not. And there were times like when he was in oh my gosh, I had secondhand embarrassment when he was at the precinct and the police officer was asking him about his sex life with her. And I was like, in front of his parents, I was so embarrassed for him. I was so there were definitely moments where I felt bad for him because I was like, if he's not guilty, then like this poor kid, you know. So
yeah, I felt like, you know how like the typical trope, it's like it's always the husband or it's always the boyfriend that did it. And I feel like this was just like the perfect setup. So I was like, okay, well, obviously it's not him. But then like seeing like, I guess like Riley and like Evan would say like, oh, like he was like holding her like a little too tightly and she didn't really like that. So like seeing like their relationship also in a different lens was kind of interesting. But like he just said, like, you know, when you're in love and you're in high school, like your first boyfriend, girlfriend, it's forever.
Yeah.
Well, mine really was forever, but
he didn't make you go to the same college with him, did you?
yeah, he wasn't sick.
Hey, I did switch colleges to go with Will, but he didn't like make me, you know.
Yeah, you wanted to.
Yeah.
It was just the way he said things, like
and
he got mad over the smallest of things.
Yeah.
And that's just
see, like I knew it wasn't really him, but I was like, man, dude, like if I wasn't like a pro at thrillers, I would totally think you did it because you were toxic.
I would have been so mad. I think that's such a cop-out. I'm sorry. I said what I said. I think it's such a cop-out when it's the most obvious character. And I mean, that's kind of what this did.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's see. Let me catch up on comments. Honestly, I could have had a whole book of Brad and Ellen. True. Already forgot names, but the two disgusting men. Yep. Evan also stuck out to me the most. He did stick out to me the most, but I'm going to talk about it in another question because I don't want to like completely spoil it right yet because we're going to talk about like other stuff. So I wanted it so badly not to be Evan. I feel like Cameron and Diana I feel like we're far enough. So I'll just go ahead and say Evan stuck out the most to me just because it was a different audiobook narrator. I was like, this is weird. 2, it was the diary entries, like Keisha said. I was why are we doing this? So like he was definitely high on my list. So I felt like Cameron and Diane were a very typical high school relationship, and you were supposed to see Cameron as an all-American teenager, but he kind of sucked and was gaslighting her to, I agree. Yeah.
Very immature.
Felt very high school where one person thinks it's forever. I mean, it is. Why not? I agree. One romp in the pickup truck and you think you're going to be together forever. Oh my gosh, you cracked me up. I saw it coming and I was like, oh, I hope not, especially the whole jump rope thing. He seems so innocent. Okay, so here's a really good question that I felt like kind of stuck out, and this is from Brandon. So Ellen's character struggles with 2 huge choices: standing by her man or sacrificing a future she's always dreamed of. What would you say her character reveals about the obligations we have to the people we love? So deep. I love it.
I know. I saw that question in the Discord and I was like, how the heck am I going to answer this? So I don't know. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm sure like, obviously Ellen was put in a really difficult position as she was like uncovering that the man that she loved wasn't who he appeared to be, you know, but I think not with every case, but with a lot of cases, there are signs. And I feel like the more she started to like observe him or think about things, like it did kind of come to light a little bit like, oh, maybe he's not the man that I always thought he was. And I don't know, like I didn't really have, like I mentioned before, any emotional attachment to any of the characters in the book. It wasn't that type of story for me. So I wasn't like that invested in what was going on with Ellen and Brad. Like, yeah, I feel bad and yeah, this whatever. But like, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't that kind of story for me. Like it wasn't I didn't care that much, to be honest. And I hate to say that sounds awful, but like, I know like Brandon gave us such a like deep emotional question. And I'm like, meh, you know,
is what it is.
It sucks for her, and I'm sure it's difficult because, like, when you love somebody, you can be blind to those things. But again, as that came out, her blinders came off, and she started to see,
Yeah.
you know, who he really was.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes, and I actually wrote that down too. Like, sometimes loving someone means that we can walk away and let them actively struggle with the mess that they've made. Because I think that Ellen was so caught up in, she wanted to believe all this evidence that was climbing up against Brad, but she was so blind to the fact that she was in love with him. And of course, that's like the love of her life. She was going to get married to him. But at the same time, I think a lot of times we don't know that line of being in denial of, okay, should I walk away from this person? Is it doing me or him any good by me staying with him?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the times that we get those lines blurred because we're so blind to the people we love, which is not, I mean, it's not bad, but like, we need to be able to make those decisions to benefit us.
Yeah, I think like also like when you're like deeply in love with someone and you see a huge future and then you are kind of like sprung the news of like who you think you're in love with is not really who they are. And so like it's just I feel like for Ellen it was just so hard to not only like let go of like the wedding of her dreams and stuff like that, but like also like to kind of like let go of the person she thought she was. So but like Keisha said, she took her blinders off and yeah. So, yeah, great question. Brandon always brings the best questions, and he says, "I'm sorry, I wanted to ask one that would make y'all really have to think, and you provided that." Okay.
Yeah.
I was really stuck on the diary entries as well. Why provide them, and I didn't want it to be him. Yeah. I feel like if they would have made his chapters and the narrator the same, I would have never suspected him as much. But keep reading. You'll find out.
Brittany, you need to not be here. We're going to talk about spoiler.
Kind of felt like Brad was a means to the end for Ellen. He made sense and it was easy and he was nice to her and it was the next step. I think she was more in love with the idea. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think she didn't really want the future with Brad. I think she just wanted like what she thinks she's like this. I think women feel pressure to make a decision right away when people need time and it comes to turn into reality. Yeah. I want to hear other people's theories. How else could this story have gone? Ooh, good question. Okay.
Gosh, Lena, why didn't you put that in the Discord so we could have been thinking about it? Or did you?
I'm telling you. So I was kind of not hoping, but I was thinking it was going to be Riley at one point.
I would have been way more shocked if it was Riley.
Yeah, because I feel like there could have been like a little bit of jealousy that, you know, she was spending so much time with Cameron. But then as like the story developed, I was like, well, it can't be her because she's doing a lot of work to turn herself in. So
I would have wanted it to be anybody but any of the guys. Like, I just feel like that was so obvious because all of them were awful. All of them had something that they were doing wrong, even if they weren't the one who killed her. Like, so I don't know. I just didn't want it to be an obvious choice. Like, I don't know that I would have been satisfied with any of them. I don't know. So I didn't really have a good theory along the way because I just kind of felt I was on that. This is going to be so predictable, and I was right. So
yeah,
I was so upset.
Why? Oh, that
because
it was
the twist of who it was. I feel like it would have been a much better ending if it would have been Riley.
Yeah.
Lana personally was hoping Brad was running an underground teenage like export I can't say it gig and Diana was going to out him. So I just thought of it. Everyone has a motive. That should be a title.
Yeah.
I feel like Riley was the only one truly trying to figure out what happened. I'm glad it wasn't her. Yeah, I agree. What's the name of the daughter again? I think it was Taylor, right?
Yeah.
The one that Harley got mentioned. I thought she would had a bigger role. Yeah, I also thought like it's always the quiet ones, and she was probably the quietest character. Okay, now that we're not talking really deep conversations, Hannah, why don't you just spill the beans? What happened? Who, what, when, where, how?
Okay. Courtney, I hope you're gone because I'm going to tell you what happens. So I don't remember exactly the conversation that went down, but Evan, the guy we were getting his perspective through the diary entries, he went to Diana's house that night and he was going to talk to her, and she was not taking him seriously. Again, either one of you could fill in the blanks. I forgot what they were talking about. But
he confessed his love to her, and she laughed at him.
Yeah, she laughed at him. I think she also told him that like she broke up with Cameron that night, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think Evan decided to tell her.
And then she laughed at him, and being the toxic man that he was, he grabbed her jump rope and strangled her with it.
The switch flipped.
I was like,
he's like, ooh, it's gonna make it good for my diary. Yeah. Very random, like, murder weapon, too.
I know.
So,
how convenient that the jump rope was just hanging there on the door.
And I'm sorry, but, like, do high schoolers jump rope? Is that a thing?
I mean, for exercise, maybe. But no, I don't think it's super common anymore. But it is like a cardio activity.
Yeah. The whole switch broke off the wall with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I saw it a mile away, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, any thoughts on it? Like, did you like it, even if it wasn't predictable, or if it was like?
It just kind of felt, when I read a thriller, I want to audibly gasp. I want to be like, like I did not expect that, and I didn't do that once. It was more build up than when we actually got there. It was so disappointing. Yeah. But I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It did what it needed to do. Yeah. But I wasn't shocked, and I wanted that shock factor.
I agree. Like I do think Evan's character could have been fleshed out so much more. I'm a character study girl. Okay. Like Sally Hepworth has made me a character-driven character study girl. So obviously he's like, I don't know if it's psycho or psychopath. I don't know. Obviously something's going on there. Like his switch flips like that. Like he is such a good person. And then all of a sudden it's like demon comes out of him and he just does this thing. And so I think if we could have like explored his character more, I would have enjoyed it more, even if it was predictable. But because it was just like, thrown in there, I was like, it's fine. It was fine.
Yeah. I also think because his perspective was kind of different than everybody else's because it was in the diary entries, I think that was a complete giveaway.
Yeah.
And I think that was on her, that she shouldn't have, if she wanted him to be the strangler, the hash slinging slapper, that she should have made him like everybody else.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, I know Keisha had listened to the audio. Did you listen to the audio too, Hannah?
I did. I loved the audio.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, why have a different narrator for the one person that is going to be
so predictable?
Like, I was like, I felt like it could have been a little, like, I've been like, no, it can't be him. But I was like, why pay the money for one character out of the 40 million that, like Lena said? Like, why? It just made no sense to me. Let's see. It was fine. I was fine with it being him, but it was terribly predictable. And how it all went down, didn't feel like it fit the rest of the story. Homeboy snapped. Yes, I agree. Didn't suspect it at all, but probably about midway through, I started to wonder again. Not shocking, but I had a fun experience reading it. Yeah, I mean, I still had fun, even though it was like just fine. Like,
yeah.
Started suspecting Evan when he was against Riley doing any digging. Also, red flag. The fact that when the cops asked him about her and he said everyone had a crush on her, but he did. Wait, but he didn't. I was sus. Sure. I guess him from the jump thought it was going to be more of like, if I can't have her, nobody can type of killing, not to hurt my feelings. Wait, and I snapped killing. Wait, this made no sense. If no one can have her, if I can't even read.
I can't have her. Nobody can.
Would. Yeah. Type killing, not a she hurt my feelings, so I snapped type of killing. I got you. Gosh, that was such a hard sentence. Saying Gwen. I was thinking it would have been an accident. I was expecting him to kill her, but not to be a sociopath. Yeah. I feel like even an accident would have been better, and maybe he like freaked out and was like trying to like cover it up type of thing. I feel like that could have been better than versus like, oh, I purposely did this because she laughed at me.
Right.
So I will say I really liked how Raleigh found out, like when she was in his bedroom and she found his the
cell phone. Yeah,
the horror of him seeing her with the phone. Like terrified.
I loved that part. That part really did like.
But wasn't
it was for the twist, but I really liked it.
Where was it? It was under the bed, right?
I think under his pillow. Right.
Under his pillow.
Her phone was
I'm like, man.
And that I was a little creeped out. I felt some things.
You think he would have hit it better, but he thought nobody was on to him. So why should
she wasn't supposed to be in his bedroom. She was supposed to be in his
I guess so.
Yeah. That creeped me out, Hannah, the phone discovery.
And when he started walking up the stairs, I was a little creeped out.
I knew he was going to walk in. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the book. So, yeah, same. Yeah. That's when I was like, ooh, this is the thriller part. We already know it's him, but what's he going to do now? I think he secretly wanted Riley to find the phone. Interesting.
Like the guilt was getting to him.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your final star rating? Let us know. If you just joined, let us know what you think. Where is my little banner? It's down here. Aren't you working? Final star rating. Whoever wants to reveal first.
3.
Interesting.
I thought it was good, but like average.
I also gave it 3.
Nice.
Oh my God. That's so like, I was like, man, I feel like I'm going to be 3. Someone's going to be a 2 and someone's going to be a 4. So, but look
if
at
it
us.
wasn't so fast paced and like, because I read it in like 2 days. It was super fast paced. Like her writing is good. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have given it a 2. But I feel like it's a pretty average. Like I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it was still like an enjoyable read. So that's a 3 for me.
Very middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna forget it. But it was good. It was a good time.
Let's see. No, he never even took her to that room.
Gotcha. Oh, she was talking to Elena.
Oh, gotcha. 4 stars for Gwen, 3.5, 4 stars, 3 stars.
Look at me, Elena tipping the same with the rating.
Oh my God. Hang on. Let me see if pigs are flying out the window. 4 stars. I liked it. Entertained me, but it's forgettable. Yep. If y'all hadn't read The Couple Next Door, I highly recommend that one. It feels so different than her other domestic thrillers. Yeah. So speaking of that, let's see. Now that we've read What Have You Done, do either of you plan up to pick any of her other books that you haven't read yet? For me, it's a yes. I have The End of Her, and then I'm pretty sure I have the other one. I just don't know where it's at. So.
Absolutely. I'm probably going to continue picking up her new releases just because I have liked her. I mean, she's a very mid author for me. Sometimes maybe
I feel like she's very safe. Like you're either going to love it, like it, but you're not going to hate it.
Yes, it's going to be a good time, but it's not going to be the best book you ever read.
Yeah.
So,
and that is why I don't anticipate picking up any more from her, because I don't have time for mid authors. So I'm not saying, I never say never, But I do feel like my gut instinct with her, like the reason I hadn't picked up any of her books thus far is because like I don't typically like the type of thrillers that she writes. Like the more like realistic, predictable. I mean, I don't know if her other books are predictable, but based on y'all saying like her books are kind of mid, like I feel like I'm in the
I
right
think you would
ballpark there.
love, I think you would like An Unwanted Guest just because I know you like that
Agatha
closed door
Christie.
mystery. Yeah. And then I think you would also like Everyone Here Is Lying because that twist in the middle, I was like, no freaking way.
I mean, like I will never say never, but she's definitely not like a top priority for me to pick up in the grand
Mm,
like everything
Yeah,
I want to read.
I can see that.
But now I know,
totally-
like this was my first experience, and now I know. So
yeah. Well, if you do decide to pick up An Unwanted Guest, I highly recommend in the winter because it's during a blizzard. So
Mhm.
let's see. I feel like we have a few comments. Let's see. I liked it, entertained me. Oh wait, we've already read that one. Just kidding. Definitely read more by her. I would pick up more from her, but probably check my library. Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like they're always at Target too, so you can definitely get them like super cheap there. But yeah, like I'm probably gonna pick up her new releases when they release, but I feel like you don't have to rush out to get them. You can get them at the library. Jordan says she'll check out her books. I won't run out to get them. Probably get them from the library. Same as Brandon. Nice.
Like
Okay.
this one was one of my most anticipated releases for the year. Like that's where I'm at with her. I have like we have a good relationship, but she's not a favorite. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna pick up her newer releases.
Yeah. Same. And I will say this, I like that she tried something different with the whole like ghost thing.
Yeah.
So I've never seen like a domestic thriller and like a ghost put together.
I agree with Angel. I think I just want a 5-star from her so bad.
Yeah.
I'll fall over dead the day that I read a 5-star with Sherry Lapina.
So like The Couple Next Door and The Stranger in the House, I gave those both like 5 stars, but I was like very like I don't even think I had a YouTube channel. So like I was very new to like getting back to reading. So like me now, I'm like, 3-4 stars probably.
Yeah.
But like that's typically where she's at is like 3 and 4 stars for me. So
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. If you had to rename this book, what would you rename it as?
I spent way too much time thinking about this, and I'm still back and forth between two different things. But I think so. Either like Silent Lies, Deadly Truths, or Silent Lies and a Deadly Truth.
I like something.
That, cool. I like it.
I like that a lot. What about you?
I have 2. And one of them is another book that she's already written, and that's Everyone Here Is Lying.
that is true. That is very true.
But She Laughed.
Stop it.
That's good.
I am going to take Lena's suggestion and I'm going to say Juvenile Messy Lies. Or Liars. Excuse me.
I like that one too.
I just liked that one. I would rename it Men Are Ick.
Men Are Ick. Yuck.
The Cornfield Secrets. I like that.
Oh, I would totally pick that up.
I don't know. That sounds like there could be a clown in the cornfield. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's the name of the book, Clown in a Cornfield.
Jump ropes are dangerous.
No. I could just imagine the jump rope on the front.
With like blood on the rope. Jump ropes are deadly. Or maybe roped into lies.
Oh, that's good.
Let's see. Okay, so before we end the discussion, do you guys have any recommendations? So like if you liked this book, you should read this, or if you did not like this book, you should read this.
Me and Hannah are going to have the same answer, I bet, for the book to read. So I'm going to let Hannah go. Like to read. If you like this, you should read.
Really?
What's your book?
I don't know if you've read these. Okay, so.
Oh, you have multiple.
Oh, yeah. I have 4.
I just have 1.
4. So 2 of them are Sherry Lapina. If you did not like this one, don't give up on Sherry Lapina. Everyone Here Is Lying is fantastic. We've already talked about that one.
Yes.
Not a Happy Family is like rich people drama. I loved that one. And then not by Sherry Lapina, but give me similar vibes or The Teacher by Frida McFadden. If you can handle it, it is a very, very risque concept. But it did give me similar vibes to what happened with Brad. And then None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell was a fantastic book.
Ooh,
Similar concepts. So
nice.
those are my recommendations.
Okay.
You didn't say the one, but you brought it up. But I'm not going to say anything about it except the name of the book for similar vibes. If you like this book, read Listen for the Lie by Amy Gentera.
I second that one. I like that one a lot. Actually, I think that one's way better than this one. So
yeah, I did enjoy. I think I gave that one 3.5, which it still wasn't like a up there for me, but and it's not. Look at you. It was like a 5-star up until the end for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't think about that one. That one's a good recommendation for that.
Yeah. I am also saying if you want to dabble back into Shari LaPena, I would definitely recommend Everyone Here Is Lying. I think that is her best one personally. But if you want something a little different, I don't know why, but this book gave me very similar vibes to something completely different. It's more mystery, and I don't know why I think it's just because like the teenage love in it, but it is called The Pact by Jodi Picoult. Loved that one. It is so good, but it's very different. But like if you still like the whole like what happened to like this teenage couple, like so basically it's like the perfect teenage couple. They grew up together as kids, and then like something happens to where what was supposed to be like a suicide pact, the girl is dead. The boy has an injury.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
But it looks like he may have killed her. So
oh gosh.
I'm sorry, Elena. It just I feel like it was a good recommendation. So let's see. Gwen says The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. Yeah, I can kind of see if you like her writing style. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Okay. Yeah. Definitely like I would agree to that.
Sally does it better. With the characters, I'm sorry.
I will say character-wise, she does do it a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So
but thriller-wise, like she's not like thrillery.
Yeah. The Night Olivia Fell by Christina McDonald. I have not read that one, but I do think that would be a good recommendation. Love, Listen to the Lie, and None of This Is True. I recommend those as well. Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCreed. Both have POVs of teens and parents are twisty and atmospheric. Okay, good. Okay. Glad I did you some justice because I loved that book. It's very deep, and I've only read one other book by Jodi, and it was 19 minutes, but they are so I've read Mad Honey. I think that's what it's called. They're just really deep books, and like it takes a lot for me to read them. So well, thank you. I try. Okay, I do have one more question, and this is mostly just for Hannah. So, what would your official ranking be of Shari LaPena books that you've read?
Well, obviously, Everyone Here Is Lying is my top favorite.
Good answer.
Not a Happy Family is next. What Have You Done? I'm going to do it number 3. The Couple Next Door, Stranger in the House, and Someone We Know. Just because A Stranger in the House, Someone We Know, and The Couple Next Door, I don't really remember a ton about them. Like you were saying, they're very forgettable thrillers, and they're thrillers that I think we all dived into when we were just getting into the thriller genre. I feel like they're like Frida McFadden books. You just kind of like
go for the good. I could see that.
And then about them, but yeah, definitely Not a Happy Family. Everyone Here Is Lying, and I did like this one. I think it was my top 3. So
nice.
Even if it was a 3-star,
I would say Everyone Here Is Lying is my top. The Couple Next Door, Stranger in the House. This no, I would say Not a Happy Family, this one, and then An Unwanted Guest. So, but again, all of her books are like 3 to 4 stars. So they're all like in the same genre. And I have 2 more to read from her. So, well, thank you so much for being my co-host this month. I'm so glad like we all kind of agreed and we're on the same page. So I feel like this was a good discussion. So thank you so much for co-hosting and like being so flexible for having everyone else vote for which one. I'm glad this one won because I have not heard good things about The Midnight Feast. So
can we talk about that in just a second? I loved that book.
Really?
And honestly,
I'm the only person that said it was good.
I know. And I'm like, am I the weird one? Am I the drama? But truly, I loved it. And it's not really a book that I thought I would like. Like the language was foul. And I can handle a lot of language in my thrillers, but it was foul. And but it was so good. Like the plot was so good, which I love Lucy Foley's writing, and I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah, see, all of her books have been like 3 stars and that's it. But like I know like a lot of people like her books. I was like, this might be like a good discussion. So Brandon has also
really good.
Heard so many
it was so good. I promise. Listen, don't write it down anywhere, but it was so good.
She's already told me though that I won't like it, so I know I'm not gonna read it.
I did not like the new Ruth Ware book. You are mistaking me for somebody else
because you are the drama.
I took it off my TBR list, but maybe I'll consider. Yeah. So now that it didn't win, I was like, if I happen to hear good things, I'll give it a shot. But
I would say listen to the audio because it makes it like very atmospheric. But you gotta love Lucy Foley's writing. I feel like if you don't like Lucy Foley's writing, then you're probably not gonna like it.
I did read the guest list by her like years ago, and I gave it 4 stars. But then later on, I was like, but I hated all the characters. And sometimes I love to hate the characters, but then I don't know. So who really knows? Who really knows?
Yeah, I don't think you'd like it.
Thanks,
either one of you. Yeah, I don't think either one of you would like it, but I loved it.
I'm happy that you did, though. It's good for you.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked that one. Would you end up giving it 4, 5?
4.5.
Oh,
4.5.
It was almost perfect.
The only reason that I took it off was the language, and everything else was there. I loved it.
That's funny.
I am the fan.
So thank you so much for co-hosting with me. This was super fun. I feel like I read this so long ago, so I was like, I cannot wait to talk about this book. And I hope I remember stuff because it was pretty forgettable. But yeah, just so one more thing, make sure you guys check out Keisha and Hannah's channels. I have them linked down below. Next month, there is no book discussion. It is going to be the Survive the Night readathon. It is starting on Friday the 13th. I love how the stars all lined up. So Friday the 13th all the way to the 17th. It is a summer camp slasher theme. So definitely check out the announcement video and the Discord for all that. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end, and we will see you guys next month for the readathon. And then also, you may want to keep your eye out because I do have the next 3 books for Sleep When I'm Dead. And there may be an author like interview, maybe 2, maybe 2. One of them's going to get back to me, so we shall see. So
you are so cool. We're just honored to be with you.
Stop it.
Can we sit with you?
You can sit with me, I guess.
Awesome. At the cool kids table.
We'll see. So I believe the announcement video is going to go up on September 7th. So just keep an eye out. But if you're one of my YouTube members, you'll get to know even earlier. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.